But by that point, I'd lost my grip and it had dropped right into it.
Oh no!
And that's why I'm no longer allowed to take other people's children to the zoo, especially the lion exhibit.
Oh God!
Yeah,
not Joe Exotic.
You know, I've been doing that thing that people do when they hate themselves, which is keeping up with SNL.
Oh God!
And I've noticed that Kate McKinnon hasn't been in it for a very long time.
Why is this?
So I was like, right, what's going on with Kate McKinnon? I looked it up, and she's not left it. She's just currently busy filming, and I totally forgot that this was happening. The Joe Exotic movie. Oh no! The one where she's playing Carol Baskin. And Nicolas Cage is playing Joe Exotic. You know, the one we all went, oh, that sounds hilarious. And then we all lived through the first lockdown and went, no, but it was weird how we all idolized these people because of a documentary, right? That was strange. But the film is still happening. So, as is Tiger King Series 2. That's coming around.
I think that's out now.
Is it out now or is it nearly out?
I think it's out now. But I don't know.
The world has moved on. The world has moved on. It's nearly 2 years since the first series, and the world has moved on.
I'm not happy with this. I'm not okay with it.
Welcome to Big Damn Cast, everyone. We're talking about Tiger King for some reason.
We're not happy about it.
We're going to move on to nerdy news and geeky gossip. My name is Chris, that bitch, Carol Baskin Johnson.
My name is actually Tiger King. I changed it by deed poll 7 weeks ago.
Oh.
First name Tiger, last name King.
That explains why you've not been opening any mail I've sent you.
No, it's actually illegal for me to open a mail address to my old name now. Because that's not me anymore.
It's ironic because, you know, what's he from? Which series is he from? King. Tekken.
Yeah,
right.
He's not got a tiger head though, he's got a leopard head.
Leopard. Oh, there you go. But did you know that his name is Tony King? So the fact that you guys have similar names means you might get each other's mail now.
Oh God, I can't open King's mail. Well, I can open
King's mail.
I can open mail addressed to Mr. King. Oh no, because it's got to be Mr. T. Oh no! I've got myself in a King loop.
That's a good point, right? So what if the person who lived in your house before you had the same surname as you, and then you received mail, like, you know, a year or whatever into you being there, that was addressed to Mr. Watson, and that's all it said. You go, oh, that's mine. And then you open it and find out it's not anything to do with you. It's like an account or whatever that's got nothing to do with you. You have then technically tampered with the mail. Yeah, but is it defensible because they've got the same surname?
I've unknowingly committed a crime.
Yeah. So what do you do in those instances?
Yeah, well, you just got to come clean off.
Set fire to the house.
Set fire to the house. Move to leave. Australia. And set fire
Molotov
to Australia.
cocktail your entire life. Right, like, that's it. I can't be Matt Watson anymore. I have to be Tiger King.
What's in a Molotov cocktail? Are you even old enough to drink? Right, what are we doing?
Nice callback. So today we're talking about three things. We're going to start with the one that we gather most of our listeners would have already watched, so we're not fussed about spoilers, and that's Docky Who.
The most
recent episode, Survivors the Flux. Then we are going to talk about something which most of our viewers will probably have watched and go into spoiler details, which is Hawkeye, episodes 1 and 2, the Disney Plus series. And then we're going to round out with something that some folks might not have seen, either because they've not been able to get to the cinema yet, haven't felt comfortable going to the cinema yet, or like most cinemas around these parts, it's already been shoved out of their screens because they're having to make room for so many bastard films over the next month. It's insane.
So many bastard films. Is that
so many bastard films? Yes, that was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those. Yes, yeah, they're the Jon Snow of cinema, and we're going to talk Ghostbusters Afterlife, third and foremost, but not foremost, third most. In the meantime, how the devil are you, sweet lady? We are recording remotely once again for those just catching up.
I'm all right. Not much exciting going on. You know, just doing my thing, working my work, being a independent woman.
You don't need no man?
I'm not an independent woman. I'm neither independent nor a woman, technically. Life is good here. How are you in the far off land of wherever you are?
Pantoland.
Pantoland.
Pato Banton. I am.
Okay.
This is how I'm doing. It's 1:20 on Monday, the 29th of November, as we record this.
Is it?
I'm sat here in tracksuit bottoms, drinking black coffee, and I've been up for 2 hours.
Oh, lovely.
So that's
lovely.
That's how it's going. This is our 1 day off now until like mid-December. And I'm taking full advantage by having a coffee right now. I'm going to eat a bag of chocolate buttons while we record because I'm a beast. And yeah, this evening, those of us who have remained here in Lincoln, who haven't taken the time of our first day off to drive home, like to family and whatnot, those of us that remain are going to the Everyman Cinema to watch No Time to Die and have some booze and chicken wings or whatever.
Have you seen No Time to Die yet?
No, it's been my first time. It's one of those films. That's the one film that seems to have stayed in cinemas these past 6 months.
Yeah, everyone likes fucking James Bond, doesn't they?
Everyone loves fucking James Bond.
Fucking James Bond.
Even though they know they'll probably die if they get with him
Yeah.
sexually. If you get with him sexually, you're probably going to get killed by a henchman or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Or get, covered in oil or painted gold.
Yeah, suffocated in gold paint and... You know, like Javier Bardem shoots an apple off your head and then shoots you, and it's not a good time.
It's not a good time. Not good times to be had with the old Bondaroonie.
But you know what was a good time? He says in a segue that doesn't make sense.
Was it though?
Yeah, Doctor Who: Survivors of the Flux, the 5th episode of Doctor Who Flux, Chapter 5, if you will. In a nutshell, it finally answered at least 2 big questions. In
a way that I feel like was supposed to hit harder than it did.
Yes, because in a way that was meant to mean something, but really...
I don't care.
Didn't give a fuck. The best thing that it gave us was the B-plot, which was just charming and really fun.
Yeah, it was.
Then it cliffhangered in a way that made you go, right, wait.
Oh, you don't want to anger Cliff.
What? He's so angry. He's so angry.
Angry
man.
Cliff!
He's so angry. Cliff is the most angry of all.
He's
all time.
Almost as angry as Carvanista.
Who we got back? We got our good boy back. Good boy return.
I got to admit, I have liked Carvanista so far. This season. Or season off, even. Yeah. It's just...
So Survivors of the Flux suffers from modern day penultimate episode syndrome, which is, oh yeah, all that stuff we've set up, we should probably tidy it a bit before next week. Instead of what penultimate episodes of sagas, serials, whatever, used to do really well, which was, oh my god, of course, and that's what that means. But how are they gonna... What? Oh my! And then next week is the big big magical finale where they pull it all off and yeah, like a lot of modern shows fuck this up now.
Yeah.
They do this thing where the penultimate one sort of gives you something and you go, okay, and where are we going to go?
Yeah,
Because we haven't touched on the TARDIS breaking for 3 episodes now.
Yeah, it really
3 episodes
feels...
since they've mentioned it. So I don't think that's going to come into play.
No,
especially
it isn't.
now that we've had the New Year's Day teaser image. Have you seen that?
No.
So they snuck it out earlier this week. It says 2022, and the final 2s of the 2022 sort of form an infinity symbol on the top of them. And it's a shot of the TARDIS, like promo art. It's a shot of the TARDIS covered in these deep orange cracks, all on the exterior. So I have a feeling that isn't even going to be paid off in Flux. Which makes you go, hang on. Imagine if the Key to Time had finished and you still didn't know what the Key to Time was exactly, what it did, or like what the White Guardian thought about how they handled it. And then it was like, oh, we'll watch next year to find that out.
Yeah.
No, I want to watch the fucking Key to Time. You've called this series The Key to Time. I want a complete story about them getting all the bits of the Key to Time and what it means.
We have got a complete story about the Flux, it's just that it's not very interesting.
Yeah, so it turns out the Flux is essentially a man-made virus to wipe out the universe because the people who covertly monitor the universe have gone, it's kind of a fuck up this, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Chuck the virus in, and it's like, wow, it's interesting because they definitely started writing whatever the version of this was first before COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, it's interesting how that's... And obviously it's not a virus, but it is... If the universe was a computer... They've chucked a virus into it to eradicate it. did we all take a shot for the predictable, boring explanation of what the Division is?
Yeah. Like,
They're a
what could it
secret
have
society, Matt. Oh, they're a secret society.
been? Like, what else could it have been? Like, it
They're
was
secret
always going to
society,
be that.
Matt.
We knew it
Yeah,
was
but Matt, they're
already.
a
We
secret
already
society.
knew, though. We already knew it was that. We live in a
ask me
secret
what they
society.
do. Ask me what they do.
What do they do?
They secret things.
Oh, they secret things.
They secret things, Matt.
Is it the Celestial Intervention Agency with a different name? Yes, it is.
Pretty much, yeah. They secret things. Secrets.
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 and it's Tecteun. Oh, we didn't see that coming. This really important character who was introduced at the tail end of last season, who we suddenly really have to care about. This feels like it should be part of a way longer series, and it isn't. And because it isn't, none of the ideas have had time to land. None of the concepts have had time to, germinate in our minds, and nobody fucking cares.
Episode 1 should have been, right, Doctor, you seem distracted. What's going on? Okay, Yaz, I'll tell you. And just finally explains to Yaz what's going on in her head. Because then you'd get a nice start of the series, of this miniseries recap of what the Timeless Children means to the Doctor. Yeah. What the events of it mean to her. Because she's not explained it to anyone. She very briefly hints at it to Ryan in like their last sort of little conversation between each other. And that's it. So series should have started with her and Yaz on this escapade, and then Yaz being like, right, seriously, what's going on? She's like, I really shouldn't keep you in the dark. Okay.
Yeah, their relationship
and
is
then you get like
bullshit.
Yeah. So you start the series with a little recap of here's what the Doctor's trying to figure out. But then this new thing interrupts it. And it's like, oh my God, that's what all this is about with Swarm, the Flux, all this and the other. So that as this series is its self-contained self develops, once you hit this moment, you go, oh, that's the woman she was talking about at the beginning. Now, there's going to be someone listening going, yeah, but they did that in The Timeless Children. We all know. It's like, no, you know, because you've watched it and you remember it. But Joe Public does not remember something they watched nearly 2 years ago for one afternoon and have never revisited.
Shit, Joe Public doesn't remember what they watched last fucking week.
Exactly. Like, I have seen The Timeless Children once. And I mostly remember what it was about, but I have also slept, travelled, shat, like worried, gone for a run. I've done many things since then. I've eaten a few times.
Just a few.
I've had the odd orgasm. Like, I've done other things that have occupied my time.
The odd one.
Yeah, just the odd one.
They come few and far between nowadays.
If it's Christmas,
Fucking hell.
It's snowing.
Oh, God.
They're not going to remember that shit. If you're doing a mini-series that has a title and it's all one story, what happens in that one story should be coherent to someone who just watches that one story. And a lot of this relies on you remembering a finale that broadcast last February.
And even then, it's not that coherent. And it's so many disparate plot threads that are taking so long to come together that it just doesn't feel like anything's happening. Well, it feels like stuff's happening, but it feels like none of it's related to the other stuff that's happening, and so it's just not very satisfying, is it?
And I'm more intrigued by the notion of the Doctor not having a clue what Swarm is about.
Yeah.
Than the Doctor not having a clue what the Division is about, because I think it's because one of them, it seemed obvious what it was going to be, and it turned out it was they're a secret society.
They do secret things with time.
Whereas the other one, I still don't know.
Yeah,
I still don't know really what Swarm is about.
That's
which
the
at this stage
sin I think
is
it's
annoying.
Committed,
yeah,
because you don't have a clue who these fucking antagonists are, what they want, why they're doing what they're doing, why it's such a problem, what the stakes are. It's just like the stakes are almost too big. It's like it's the whole universe. I don't care about the whole universe.
Last week in Village of the Angels, it felt like the stakes were a little more graspable. It was like, okay, so whoever they are, they're after her for a reason. So the stakes are really, what do this secret society want with the Doctor right now? Like, she was with them, they want her back. Oh my God, what's this going to lead to? And it turns out what it led to was, we don't really want you back. I just need to get you out of the way because you're going to save everybody, and that we don't want that.
Yeah, it's not.
So jog on.
Yeah, they don't really want anything.
I'm going to keep you here, or if you want, I'll send you back, and you can do whatever you can try and save it or whatever. And because what was it? Tecteun offered her? We'll like leave Earth.
Oh, we'll leave Earth.
Basically,
yeah,
Earth will still exist in Universe 1. Earth will still exist and her mates will still be alive, and she can just live in a universe where all there is planet Earth and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, without the sun, motherfucker. But you know,
we've already seen the Big Bang.
Might be a few issues. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just. And this is the show dealing with the multiverse for the first time ever, really, as well. Like, you know, we've gone to parallel universes in a couple stories, like Inferno and Rise of the Cybermen. Like we've dipped into the idea of, oh yeah, our universe isn't the only one.
No,
it's just we don't really have any need to go between them because that would break the fabric of reality and screw everyone over.
We don't want to break the fabric of reality because we live there. That's where we keep all our stuff.
Yeah, I've worked very hard. I've worked very hard on it.
Yeah.
And then you get this shit where they're like, right, well, what reason did they want to get rid of Universe 1 again?
Is
it because of the Doctor?
Yeah, it's not what they want it to be. I'll tell you what it is. It's poorly defined and even more poorly explained.
So the angels lured her into a trap.
Yeah.
So that she could be sort of locked in a state just long enough for them to get her out of the universe into this base camp.
Well, they locked her in. All they did was turn her into an angel because it made a good cliffhanger. That's literally
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Plot reasons, they did it because
Yeah.
angels apparently can shift between realities. It's like, cool, so why are some of them trapped in houses? And,
Yeah, it's just
you know what I mean? Like,
fucking nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah, they can shift out reality. Cool. So why did that one remain chained up in New York for so long? Like,
I mean,
what is going on?
Yeah, it's Doctor Who.
You know,
so of course it's going to be a certain degree of nonsense, but you want it to be legible and entertaining. Otherwise, what's the point?
Especially if your monsters like the angels are based around rules, like those monsters are based around still some vaguely defined stuff, but they are based around some very set rules. That's what makes them so frightening. The idea is you as a viewer go, oh, could I follow those rules and stay alive? Like, could I do that? And you know, it's the Gremlins. It's the whole Gremlins thing. It's like, oh yeah, I'd be able to do it. And everyone has a chat about like how they'd be able to stop their Mogwai turning into a Gremlin. You know, that's part of the fun of the angels. So to then be like, actually, they can do 75 million things, including shunt her out of existence, then I go, cool. So when that one got into her TARDIS, at the end of episode 3, why didn't it just shunt her out of the universe into the place where Tecteun is?
Wasn't that
instead of us going through this whole thing of them having a village?
Yeah. I don't fucking know.
Or the one that was like, I need your help, and then went, psych, actually, I'm working with these guys and we were all trying to get you here on purpose. And it's like, right.
It's just not great,
so why did you mess with Claire and make her psychic / jump onto her already psychic abilities to give yourself a place to travel? Because then the episode happens. Right, but why? So
why does the episode happen?
Cool, but like the episode ends with the angels doing something that any one of them apparently could have done.
Yeah.
Any time. And also if the reason the Division wants to wipe out the universe is because the Doctor's like too troublesome and is meddling with the affairs of it, because that was the idea, wasn't it? They were like, some societies have to climb, some have to fall, like some are not allowed to progress, like this is just how it's meant to be, and you're ruining that because you're keeping people safe and you're stopping exterminations and extinctions and all this stuff. And it's like, cool, why don't you lot just kill the Doctor then?
Yeah, because then we wouldn't have a plot. It's
like, is there implication? Well, the Doctor is the timeless child, so technically will never not regenerate. And it's like, yeah, but we know the Doctor can die. We've seen it. We've seen other Time Lords die. Like, it's not like she's going to be there forever. And it's just like, well, I guess we better just wipe out this universe and move on to the next one. And what's to say the next universe doesn't also have its own division? We're going to be like, who are you lot? What are you doing coming over here? Piss off. Like, we're the secret society in universe 2.
It's just, I understand that, you know,
the A plot was shit, is what we're going.
The A plot shit. The B plot wasn't much better.
It was fun though.
I mean, yeah, I like
this episode's B plot was the whole thing of Dan
and Yaz being treasure hunters and Eustasis Jericho.
Kevin McNally having a good time.
I love it. The main problem is that this is
I love the stuff with the seer. Honestly, that was my favourite part of the episode because I was just like,
yeah.
I think that's the first time I've had a proper laugh at this show in a while.
Yeah.
That was kind of nice.
It's been a fucking
weird
while,
moment.
It's been a minute.
And I like the fact that it went nowhere. It was just, if we're gonna have this little interaction, we could just write it off as a line of dialogue, or we could just give you a fun little moment.
No, but they
give another actor a job, and
they do keep on writing off bits that are probably important as throwaway lines of dialogue.
How were they on the same boat every time they made a journey?
It's because that's.
I know it's because it's the only set.
Yeah, it's the only set they could get.
At what point? How in 1904 have that lot managed to wrangle that much resources? I know it's been 3 years, but and let's not even get into the fucking C plot without having a little vomit. So the C plot this week was the unit story. I don't hate the idea of unit secretly from day one having had an alien somewhere in its organization who kind of constructed it, because why not? Like, it would explain how so many people in the military were convinced, like, well, we need to put money into this, let's go for it.
Yeah.
If so I don't hate that idea, but wouldn't it have been a nicer version if it had been a good alien?
Yeah,
like a nice guy.
It would have been.
That would have been fun. It's like, wait, why would you set up unit like kick off with your kind? And he's like, yeah, well, not the bad ones. You know what I mean? I want to make sure Earth's protected. It seems like a nice place. It seems nice. I want to help you all
nice.
out.
It is. Earth is nice. Thank you for recognising that.
And
it's the people that are the fucking worst.
And like I thought the little nod of the Brigadier being in another room wasn't too gratuitous. Like, you could hear Nicholas Courtney shouting at some people.
It was a fucking far cry from Cyberbrig, I tell you that.
Yeah, but like that was exactly. This was lovely. It was like Alistair's in that room.
It was nice to see Kate. That's
quite fun. It was nice to see Kate again, yeah, just because it was... although, of course, like, we had that wonderful throwaway line about it being cancelled because of Brexit funds and everything in 2019, which was quite fun. It was like, fucking hell. Like, that is... Yeah, of course, they'd be cutting out the alien whatever thing, protection division or whatever. They'd be like, yeah, why are we spending money on that? That's a lot of bullshit. So they had to set this prior to that. So this was 2017 instead of 2019. For the Kate Bishop for the Kate Lethbridge Stewart
for the Kate Bishop stuff. Yes.
Oh my god. So like it was nice to see her, and I do kind of like seeing sort of unit over the decades. I'll be honest, I didn't find the whole like no wonder like the records are fuzzy on specific dates, because you keep showing up and they can't base it on whatever because of the fact the guy kept looking the same age over the decades. And it was like, if that was intended just to be a little joke at the whole is unit set in the 70s or 80s thing, then that's okay, sure. But I've seen the internet really enjoying that and going, oh, now it explains the date discrepancies. And it's like, no, it doesn't. It makes them more confused, if anything. Like, when do we go to the training grounds? Is it like 1967, right?
Yeah.
Oh no! The one when they're in the building.
That's 67 because it's like the year before.
So like is that the year before Web of Fear?
Yeah.
Right. So which is the first appearance of Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, and the
Colonel
first appearance of
Lethbridge Stewart.
Colonel Lethbridge Stewart, and the first. Well, we don't know them as unit yet. We learn that they're unit in the invasion.
Yes.
Because the Doctor arrives and he's like, oh my god, it's you. And he's like, yeah, brilliant. Oh yeah, I'm actually Brigadier now, and we're called Unit. We're pretty fucking great, mate. There you go.
Yeah, of course. It sets up Unit being everything before Web of Fear, which it isn't.
Well, in Web of Fear, it could be suggested that it's beginning, like it's something's starting, and then by the time the invasion's like, we're fully formed, we're funded, we're gonna make it work, bad boys. But you're right, it's not like Unit by that point.
Yeah, as someone who's just watched Web of Fear for the first time like a month ago, I can confirm that Unit is not mentioned.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's right. Who the fuck is the Grand Serpent?
Who cares?
Like, he was...
Who fucking cares?
He was some kind of outer space dignitary who was secretly a bit of a dirty mobster character in episode 3.
Yeah.
In the future. And now he's on Earth time traveling. Like, I did like the bit where Kate pointed out, like, how long has it taken you? Like, what, 10 minutes? 20 minutes to do that? Like, implying that every time we've seen him has probably just been him in real time popping to each location.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Which, if you're a time traveler who's like, yeah, well, you should need to hit these points, like, it makes sense that they would do that.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why he was randomly killing people off so that he could be unquestioned if he also never stuck around to do anything with his position of power.
Well, because it was...
And then it turns out he's doing it to give the Sontarans permission
to
to
give them an
break through
opening
to Earth.
For
but,
reasons.
But that's in 2017.
No, it's 2021.
The events of... But when you're talking to Kate, that was 2017.
Yes, but then it's in
Did it cut to 2021? Oh, they just had him in the same office
because he would be in the same office.
Set dressing is not of a consequence, apparently.
Set dressing.
So that means Kate. So that means Kate has been presumed dead since 2021. Since 2017, then.
Presumably,
when a house blew up.
Yeah, I would probably.
Right. So how's time fracture work then? Because she's part of that.
It doesn't, Chris. None of it works.
Oh God. And then you've got him giving the Sontarans permission.
Well, it basically just turns off all the defenses and lets them in.
But why?
I don't know.
What's this guy got to do with any of this fucking stuff?
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
This is what I'm saying. We now know what the division is. We now know what the Flux is. And we now know that, yes, the Doctor's past memories are contained literally in a straight-up fucking fob watch in that room. Her entire original timeline up to the point she knows as the beginning of her life, or knew as the beginning of her life, is in that fob watch. Mystery solved. Her past is there. And it is now the choice of the last episode as to whether she learns it or abandons it because I am who I am, etc., etc. We now have met Tecteun and know that she doesn't give a shit. She's like, yeah, you're my kid, I guess. But you're just an experiment, essentially.
And she's also now dead.
Then you were a dog on a leash, and then you got off the leash, and we went, oh, fuck it, it's just a dog, and let you do your thing. And it's like, okay, so that's all sort of been solved. We still know what Swarm is, and now we have the extra fucking questions of what are the tunnels all about? What the fuck is the Grand Serpent and why?
Yeah.
Why is
Grand Serpent?
Why is place inside of Passenger random floaty temple and it's just those two people?
Yep.
God. Belle and Carvanista, that was fun.
Yes. Carvanista is generally a good time whenever he turns up.
And it is fun to put him up against someone who we've seen is quite competent.
Yeah.
Like for him to then be like, fucking hell, sort of taken aback a little bit, like, all right, this is going to be a bit tougher than wrangling up a random scout bloke. Let's go. But I just, why is the Grand Serpent sent assassins into the past after Dan and Yaz and Jericho?
Who knows or dares to dream?
What? This episode was the worst of the series, but only because it's made me even more frightened for how badly it's going to conclude.
Yeah.
It had its moments, again. I like the stuff with the seer. I thought that was oddly charming and hilarious. I'm loving the Mole Man stuff. His performance is amazing. It feels like he's in a separate fucking show.
It's weird, isn't it? It is weird.
But I don't hate it because it's it's something.
It's
something
swing
happening.
I'm not sure it's a swing and a hit, but it is a swing.
Because it's such a broad Liverpudlian accent as well, so it's almost disarming.
Yeah.
Up against John Bishop, it feels fake.
Yeah,
but it's I also think of this being now a show that is watched internationally, and I'm like, I have a feeling some viewers will probably understand him more than they understand Dan at times.
Quite,
So sure, and I just like the energy he's giving to it, and it was nice that he got an actual sort of touching moment this week where he was like, "Oh my God, someone gets it," and it's like, right, what do we get? What do you mean exactly? What is your? How do you know about all this? What's going on? Oh, it's just
it's frustrating almost. At how
Ood looked nice.
What? Sorry.
Ood looked nice.
Ood looked nice. Ood looked really nice.
It would look really nice because obviously we've got different practical effects team for the last few years. So some of the returning aliens have been subtly redesigned and just the different coloration of the skin and the veins and stuff.
I dig it. I dig the look of the Ood.
Big old high on crack eyes that he had.
Fucking hell.
Which are quite nice. Although I had to look him up before because I was like, is it the same actor voicing the Ood? And it is. It's Silas Carson. And the reason why I had to look it up is because it just sounded a bit... I know it's been 10 years since we last saw an Ood, but like it sounded different. The accent sounded different. So I was a little confused about that, and I looked it up, and I think he's forgotten how the Ood sound, because it sounded like a mix between the Ood and his other most famous sci-fi voice role of the Viceroy Newt Gunray from the Star Wars prequels. There was a hint of accent in the Ood that wasn't there before.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And I was a bit like,
and I wish you were.
It sounds weird. Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that.
I do like the Doctor was like, so you're just working for her? Yeah, you do realise like there are other Ood out there and they're going to get fucked over by this as well. And he's like, it's too late to change it. She's like, it's not. Give us a shot.
Wow.
All right. Click. Sure. Why not? I don't know.
What a dick move.
What a dick move. Do you know what wasn't a dick move?
What?
Disney dropping 2 episodes of Hawkeye on Disney Plus on day one because it made for a pretty damn fun movie-length evening.
Yeah, it did. It did. We watched them both back to back as well. We did the same thing.
Spoilers ahead for Hawkeye, folks.
Hawkeye!
Marvel Studios' The Hawk Guy.
Spoilers ahead, bro.
What happened in The Hawk Guy, bro?
In The Hawk Guy, bro. So, we've got Kate Bishop, overachieving rich kid, who lost her dad in the Battle of New York in 2012. And she's in New York, and her mum is engaged to Jacques who is the swordsman.
Why are there swords everywhere?
Who's a bit weird, and they're involved in this charity auction where they're auctioning off the Ronin sword and the Ronin suit.
The infamous mercenary who murdered shitloads of organised criminals during the blip. Yeah.
So the auction gets attacked because they're looking by the tracksuit bros who are looking for a watch for some reason. Don't know the significance of the watch.
I think that's going to come back at some point.
It's got to because
did the tracksuit mafia get hold of it again, or did Pizza Dog?
No, they got the watch. They got the watch.
Okay.
Pizza Dog attacked the tracksuit bro.
Yeah, he did.
But he didn't get the watch.
Before we go any further, can we just clarify that I think we would both die for that dog?
Oh yeah, we would die.
We would die to save that dog.
Kate Bishop ends up donning the Ronin costume to sort of help and try and save as many people as she can, and gets caught on camera, which attracts the attention of Clint Barton, who's in town with his kids for Christmas, just before going back home to his wife, and it's like, oh shit, I got to sort this Ronin stuff out, and I got to stop that suit from getting out there. And
oh shit, that mobster killing I did. Someone's going to get blamed for it that isn't me. Gotta
sort that out. And so he links up with Kate and tries to smooth things over in the 6 days before he has to go home to his wife and kids for Christmas. I don't think it's going to be that easy for him.
Oh hell no! I love the continuous ticking clock as well. Of like, just 5 more days. Okay, you got 5 days. It's like that's going to keep depleting as the series goes on.
Hijinks ensue, strange things happen, and
Simon Callow makes a choice.
Simon Callow makes a real choice.
Yeah,
I'm here for it. I'm fucking here for it.
Weird, bloody weird.
And and yeah, so at the end of the second episode, we've got Kate and Clint captured by the tracksuit bros and about to be confronted by who I assume is Echo.
Who did the artwork for? It is pretty good. Who did the artwork for Hawkeye, the Matt Fraction run?
David Arger, mostly.
So David, there are petitions all over the internet now for David Arger to get an exec producer credit and a little fucking cut of it.
Has Fraction got one?
Fraction's got a producer credit on it somewhere, or a with thanks credit. He's got an acknowledgement somewhere.
Arger should have one.
David Arger hasn't, despite the fact that obviously not only is it borrowing very heavily from the series that he illustrated most of, not all of it, but he illustrated most of it.
And his character designs.
But also the entire graphics for the title sequences and marketing of the show is lifted directly from his covers.
Yeah.
And people are going, this show looks incredible. And those who read the comics going, Yeah, where's the creditation to Arja, man? What's going on?
It's always
What's
fucking
happening?
artists to get shafted, man.
But it's so distinctly his look
Yeah.
that it's like painfully obvious, and so I hope that gets resolved because I don't
very
want there to
good.
be some bad blood on this series because it's so good.
It's very good.
It's so the trailers promised Die Hard with bows and arrows, and I think what episode 1 and 2 delivered was Die Hard with bows and arrows.
Die Hard
that
with
is the
Vengeance
vibe.
with bows and arrows.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like-
It's like Die Hard had sex with a Shane Black movie, and someone dropped a bit of the Marvel formula into the mix, and out popped Hawkeye, the series.
Yeah, I can fuck with that. As a
Haley
concept.
Steinfeld,
She's
so good. So good as Kate. It's a nice different twist on Kate as well, because Kate is usually the calmer, collected, more together one, especially again in the series this is inspired by, whereas here she is the opposite side of that
Yeah,
coin.
they've given the
freaking
calm,
out
collected
and-
stuff to Clint and given her the sort of like perpetual bachelor, slightly losery, but very competent hero thing. Like she's a wannabe hero.
Yeah. Like she has an absolute sort of bohemian dream shag pad. Like, and she's doing all these things, like dares with her mates that result in massive property damage that she feels guilty about, but it still happened.
It did still happen.
And it sounds like it's not the first time because her mum's had to pay off stuff before.
Yeah.
And she's a giant goofball. She's one of the first. Well, I think she's the second character in the MCU to be like this, after Spider-Man to a degree. But she's like the first kind of we're introducing a fangirl.
Yeah.
Of this world.
Yeah.
Like she's a fangirl of the Avengers. She grew up loving them. And it's like, yeah, that's okay. All right. And it looks like the next generation is going to be like that. They're going down that road.
Well, because it would be.
Kamala Khan and Ms. Marvel. We've already seen the teaser preview of her dressed as Captain Marvel in a homemade suit. We've got Riri Williams on the way. You don't create an Iron Man armor if you ain't a fan of Iron Man.
Oh, quite.
Natasha's biggest fan, her younger sister, is on her way. So it seems like we're getting a lot of successes set up here. And one complaint online I saw was, this first episode is just too much about Kate. Like, I'm watching a series called Hawkeye, and I just wanted to be like,
Kate is Hawkeye.
Do you guys want to tell him? Do you guys want to tell him? Hawkeye ain't the name of one superhero, motherfuckers. Well, it's a legacy name.
At least we're not going with Hawkingbird. So it did do for a while, and no,
thank you.
Well, to be fair, in the MCU, Mockingbird isn't involved with Clint Barnes, so
yeah. Although she is in the MCU, and she's an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. character. Bobby's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was meant to get a spin-off at one point as well.
Oh yeah, Most Wanted with Jason Blood, not Jason Blood, the other one.
That's the distinguished competition.
Yeah. Jason.
Could you imagine halfway through a Marvel pilot, just suddenly one of them turned into Etrigan? You're like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
What just happened?
But no.
Suddenly they're fighting Clarion the Witch Boy.
Clarion the Witch Boy! Where's his Netflix spin-off? So
if you guys don't read DC Comics, read some DC Comics. There's some fucking wonderful shit in DC Comics.
Clarion the Witch Boy, Jesus.
So Kate is a really, really, really good addition. She feels right at home in this universe already. Especially because they planted her into one of the most iconic scenes in the film series.
Yes.
And I love that they never chickened out and cut to any shots from the film. I love that they stayed on her perspective because they're like, we know you lot have revisited this movie over the last 9 years. We know that you remember this shit.
We know that you know what we know you know.
And you know that we know that you know what exact moment she's witnessing from a different angle. So enjoy. And it's like, all right, I will.
Yeah, it was a good recreation of that as well.
Shows how soundproof their apartment was that they didn't notice it for the 20 minutes leading up to that moment. It's only after the Leviathan flew over the building did they go, oh shit.
Yeah, that was there's some neat stuff in there, man. Some really neat stuff.
Just keeping that world nice and built, and it makes you realise that a lot of shit has happened.
A lot of shit has happened.
Like, throwing mentions of the blip, you think about the Ronin thing, and you go, oh, this is the first time where it really puts into perspective. Yeah, he did that for the better part of 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't... And they also lean in properly as well to... It wasn't him going, this is a vengeance story for my family. It was a psychotic breakdown.
Yeah.
And Clint has clearly, at least not beyond maybe his family, hasn't dealt with it yet. He's just sort of gone, can we, hide this suit somewhere? Yeah, we'll put it in the compound. Cool, right, let's now travel in time and go get the stones.
The interesting thing is that he doesn't feel like a hero.
Yeah.
He's got a bit of odd man out thing going on.
Well, he was a covert operative for ages, and he killed people for his government and for S.H.I.E.L.D., and then he spent the last 5 years before the events of this murdering mobsters and, violently murdering them to the point where even his friend who'd been through the similar shit to him was like, we need to get you back in. This is wrong. This is bad. What the fuck are you doing?
And then he loses his best mate.
And then he loses his best mate in a choice he feels it should have been him and could have and should have been him and all that stuff. So when you suddenly have him at a musical based on the exploits of his super team and people reacting to him like, oh my God, you're Hawkeye and all this, he's playing that so well. The whole okay, hi.
And the musical is just the right kind of terrible as well.
It was really funny the moment it began. I was like, that sounds like Roger from Rent. Yep, no, that's Adam Pascal playing the random citizen who starts the song. Okay, that's him. There he is. They know exactly what audience that they can play with here to play with the cheese and the sort of the weird cult fanaticism elements and everything. And
the choreography and stuff is just awful.
And the Ant-Man was there.
Awful.
Ant-Man was there for some reason.
Yeah.
Which is a recurring skit as well, that he's really popular. Like in Times Square where they go past the mascots, they're all kind of wearing, costume store, Disney store versions of the outfits, but the Ant-Man guy's got a really good outfit and they're getting loads of photos taken. It's like, it's so funny we're at the point where they can make jokes about how the public are like, wow, Ant-Man, he's really cool. And it's like, this is so funny. This is so good.
It is good.
It's some good shit.
It is good
shit. Oh, God. Yeah, I like the musical. I like the fact that obviously it was just there for cheese and comedy value. But then you get the moment where he just is watching the Black Widow character on stage and he's just kind of having a moment and he's like, yeah, I've got to go. I have to leave. Because it just feels weird to see someone playing his dead friend who he feels guilty for being paraded around as a music act. And it's just like, although, I mean, come on. Be honest, as cheesy as it was, the moment the chorus hit and it was, I could do this all day. You're like, yes, that's the right amount of stupid I was hoping for.
It's very
perfect. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Very stupid.
And it's on Spotify. If you want to go listen to it,
no,
folks,
I don't want to go and listen to it.
The track in its entirety. I think they were hoping for another Agatha all along, but I don't think it's gonna hit the same way. But it's definitely gonna make people laugh. Pizza Dog. Why is he called Pizza Dog, Matt?
Because he likes pizza.
There we go. That's all you need.
What more do you need? He likes pizza.
It's perfect. It's so perfect. Kate infiltrating the mob auction was brilliant.
Yep.
And I love the whole and who sent you here? Gary. I'm Gary.
Yeah, she's very good at sort of and reacting to things very quickly.
Just immediately, it's just sort of see, this is what it is. This is what I'm talking about, Gary. You don't even know my name. We can't. I can't go on that. I'm sorry. I quit. I'm sorry.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
The fight with the wine bottles and everything.
That was really
brilliant.
neat choreography in there with the wine bottle stuff.
I think because it's so much hand to hand, the Daredevil vibes are off the charts. The Netflix Daredevil vibes are absolutely there. It's like these are fights that I could imagine being in the Netflix stuff, and it's not brutal, but it's still tight. That whole tight knit, really specific choreography kind of levels of stuff. It's great.
On that note, who do you think is going to be more disappointed? The people waiting for Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in No Way Home, or the people waiting for Vincent D'Onofrio in this?
Well, he's the one who stoked that fire, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because he's liked over the last couple of months several Hawkeye-specific Marvel posts on Twitter, but he hasn't done the same for all the other Marvel stuff. So it's
he just really likes Jeremy Renner.
Maybe he was the one person who invested in the Jeremy Renner app, and he just wants to bring it back. Yeah, I mean, I'd like it. I'd love it if he popped up. That would be lovely, especially obviously because Echo in the comics has such a big connection to Wilson Fisk, so it would be quite nice for him to.
You want to talk
as a
about
nod to
organised
that,
crime
pop
in
up in
New
it.
York as well.
Yeah, like we know he's still at the end of Daredevil Series 3. He's still operating, isn't he? The end of Daredevil Series 3, so you know. I have a feeling it's about to become they get away with whatever the thing is. I think the Watch is going to be the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
I think the Watch is the MacGuffin of the series. We just don't realise it yet. They've introduced us to it in episode 1, and now they're in the Tracksuit Mafia's like lair with Echo, and you know we've seen them escaping. The Disney Plus preview had them escaping, presumably that location. So episode 3 is going to be the car chase with the trick arrows and everything.
I like that they brought in Clint's sort of a hearing impairment as well.
I love it. They just at the beginning he just turns the hearing aid back on, doesn't he? Like in the theater, and he's just like, ugh. And then the explanation just to get over it is like you have to talk about I'm like deaf in this ear. She's like, how did that happen? And it just cuts to a montage of him like smashing through shit and being smacked by like Ultron droids and everything. It's
like being right near explosions and just a lot of stuff.
It makes sense. It's like the dude.
He's human.
He's human.
He's human.
He's straight up a human being. Like in these big cosmic battles, like he's gonna be affected.
Yeah,
Jesus
no wonder
Christ.
his hearing's fucked. Like,
and he looks knackered.
He does look
like,
knackered.
They really, you know what I mean? Like they're really leaning into the idea of him being like, I am so tired now.
I think that's Jeremy Renner though.
I mean, maybe, but he's been quite open about like if Marvel are calling, he's taking the call because he just enjoys playing the character so much, and it's like, okay, so if you're going to do that, are they going to is he going to be moved into more of a Tony Stark-esque position in terms of the future Avengers stuff? Of like he'll be the guy kind of like not funding it, but helping organize it or run it or things like that.
They're going to make him Goliath.
I don't have to go that far.
They're not. But imagine if they did.
Can I be Goliath now? Yeah, just put the camera nearer him.
And
there you go, Jeremy. Look at how big you are in the frame.
Imagine if they give him the 70s Goliath costume. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Are you undressing Jeremy Renner with your eyes?
Nope.
And then redressing him.
Someone in the 70s Goliath costume. Hastily putting his clothes back on, actually. It's like, no, Jeremy.
Don't do it, Jeremy. Don't
do it.
Oh, got anything else to bring up on Hawkeye so far?
It's very good. It's good.
It good.
Oh, the lap.
Oh, the lapping in episode 2.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It was very good.
The fact that a firefighter's just nicked this piece of costume from the apartment and then gone LARPing in it. And it's the fact that it's treated with sort of an actual amount of respect.
Yeah.
Like it begins with him going like, you know, oh, for fuck's sake, like, what the hell am I doing? And my favourite shot in the whole series so far, the 2 episodes, is him walking into the fray after registering. And it's the shot from behind Clint of everyone fighting or like, you know, really, really shit fights going on in front of him. And the back of his head and his head just sinking as he goes. It was just the composition of the shot and everything was so funny.
But then actually ends up having a little bit of fun even if he doesn't admit it.
By the end of it, it's just like, yeah, it's just like, you enjoyed that, right? And he just sort of goes,
I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it.
I'm glad I did it. It's like, yay!
Yeah, very.
And it makes you wonder, is it just him going, all right, that was actually kind of fun? Or is it him going, wow, combat, but without actual serious consequence?
Yay!
A thing I like doing, but without my friends dying or robots blowing up a city. Yay! Woo! If he doesn't sign up to a LARP group by the end of the series, I'd be very surprised.
It's gonna happen. It's not. Imagine if it did.
The scene in the restaurant, the Chinese restaurant with his family, was lovely.
All the family dynamic stuff with the Bartons is actually really good. Like
and they're great. They've got very distinct characters. Yeah. And even though we're only with a special guest implying that they probably could only film with her like on 1 or 2 days, which is why she's back at the home.
Yeah.
But it's still lovely to see Linda Cardellini.
Yeah.
Because she is wonderful.
It always is, isn't it?
It's just lovely to just see Linda Cardellini. Yeah. Like, regardless of if she's in stuff, it's like, oh my god, Linda Cardellini exists.
Always a pleasure.
I think the world's a better place just for this.
Always a pleasure. Never a chore.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to where it goes.
I'm looking forward to where it goes.
Yeah,
And where it goes.
Swordsman, the fencing. Nobody.
Oh, that was good. That was good. I kind of want him to sort of subvert the swordsman thing. I don't want him to be a baddie, but he's gonna be in it.
Unless he's been trying to infiltrate those families from within for a while, and he's just been doing a Ronin style thing, but taking his sweet ass time with it. Because I have a feeling we're gonna learn maybe that Kate's mum's not so great.
Yeah, maybe.
Like her dad,
Maybe.
Like not to stereotype, but like the way her dad was dressed in the flashbacks, they were archetyping a little bit more kind of slightly not dodgy guy, but you know, like the house is all this really really gorgeous, well-to-do apartment, and he's just sort of in a leather jacket, the little style beard, the gold chain, and they were coding mobster a little bit in terms of like obvious Hollywood kind of how do you dress a mobster? Well, some of them look like this, and some of them look like this, and some of them look like this. Like so, I wouldn't be surprised if her mum's willing to look the other way a little bit on purpose.
Possibly.
But doesn't realise she's a target. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
We shall see.
4 more to go. So, whew. Right. Speaking of things that I have feelings about.
Okay. All right.
If you want to listen to your emails, folks, you're going to have to skip toward the end of this here podcast because we're about to talk Ghostbusters Afterlife spoilers.
Spoilers and my thoughts, because I have now seen it.
You have indeed seen it. Your spoiler-free thoughts on the movie overall before we go into spoilers, for those who would like to hear but don't want to hear anymore.
As you predicted, I dug it quite a bit more than you did.
Yeah, I thought you would. You have joy in your heart.
I bought into the nostalgia quite... just wholeheartedly. And just had a fucking whale of a time with it. I thought it was really fun. McKenna Grace. McKenna Grace. I think even think Mackenzie Davis. McKenna Grace is fucking fantastic in this.
She is, isn't she?
It's like all the kid actors are actually. The guy who plays podcast.
Logan Kim.
Logan Kim is fucking great. The older lass who plays.
I can't remember now. The diner.
Yeah.
She's I think
she's
running
great.
just. She's wonderful. Yeah, it's sort of underused a bit, but she does a lot with it.
Yeah. Fucking Carrie Coon is fantastic. Paul Rudd is peak Paul Rudd, just like wonderful Paul Rudd. It's
Sexiest man alive, don't you know?
He is.
It's true. Sexiest man alive. People's sexiest man alive 2021.
It's just generally a good, fun time. It does some nice things. It does some, fan service, but does also takes. I feel like it does the fan service a bit, but also shows you things that you wanted to see from people revisiting the concept that you might not have seen before. And I think it's also got a lot of heart in a good way.
I think that's the key. The key thing that stuck with me a week on is that it was clearly made with love.
It always made with
by
love.
the people making it. It was made with love.
Yes, absolutely.
I think the studio weren't looking at it from that perspective, but the people on the actual ground making the damn film were making it because they had something they wanted to say, especially about especially about like what you sometimes have to give up for the sake of keeping everyone safe, even if people don't necessarily understand.
Yeah, it was definitely written by someone. Well, we know that Jason Reitman wrote it, drawing on his experiences on the set of the original, as the son of Ivan Reitman as a kid.
Yeah.
So
he sort of felt like he was being, because he's talked about this in interviews, and he sort of felt like he was being ignored a little bit and put to the side and everything. And it's like, no, it's just now he's older doing this job. He understands like what his dad was having to give up sometimes, like by being away from home for long periods and everything. And he gets it now, like he understands it. And that's sort of what it's about. It's about Carrie Coon's character and McKenna Grace's character, and that understanding why their grandfather, why her dad, and I think Phoebe's grandfather was absent for so long in their life. And, he didn't do it because he hated them. He did it because he loved them. Like, that's why he did it. So that theme, I think, is beautiful, and it's told really, really well. where did you sit on sort of the stuff we touched on last week, pre-spoilers still, like sort of that action set pieces and things like that? What do you think about that?
So the action set piece was really great. I really liked how much of the effects were practical.
Yes, yeah. Like I think it's
really into that.
I think it's sort of like a 40 practical, 60 CGI% split roughly in this one.
Yeah.
But it's still nice that there's more solid foundations in there.
Too right.
Especially certain big growly puppets.
Yes. And I also I love the consistency with the look of the originals. Mm-hmm. And it's clearly a modern take on it, but it was just generally it was nice. It was like coming home again. It is
to a dirt farm.
To a dirt farm. It is the Force Awakens of the Ghostbusters, in all the best possible ways, and also has the flaws that sort of implies. But seen as this is possibly, but honestly, probably not likely to spawn a franchise. I think we'll probably be spared the excesses of the sequel trilogy for Star Wars.
I mean,
from any
hopefully.
continuation of this. But we'll see.
I think if this does continue, it won't necessarily be here's what these characters did next. I think it'd be more here's what the Ghostbusters franchise becomes next, and maybe a few of these characters will pop. Like, because I don't for a second imagine that the kids in this are going to be like the new team. That doesn't feel quite right. But it wouldn't hurt if like they were in the film still and part of it in some respect.
At the same time, I'm not sure if I'd be interested in watching a sequel to this without McKenna Grace. Because she is so good and the character is so endearing and well performed that in some sort of way. We'll see. We'll see.
And fucking hell, again, no spoilers, but hey, Paul Rudd getting to basically just be the Rick Moranis of this piece.
Paul Rudd, baby!
Getting to be the Rick Moranis in more ways than one.
I love it.
The most significant being being a fucking chick magnet, apparently.
Jesus Christ.
He's retained the Lewis Tully power of being a chick magnet.
Let's get spoilery.
Let's do it. So, spoilers for Ghostbusters Afterlife from this point on. Avoid if you don't want to hear them. Starting in 3, 2, 1. So everybody dies.
You know, funnily enough.
Yeah, everyone. And in the first 5 minutes, which I thought was the most amazing thing, everyone died in the first 5 minutes, and then it was just 98 minutes of a still shot of a dusty farm.
Ghosts.
Which took me by surprise.
Ghosts busting ghosts.
Well, I mean, that does happen.
That does
freaking happen.
How did you feel about the Egon? The Egon component.
What, the Grand Moff Egon? The Grand Moff Spengler?
I fucking I thought that was really well done.
I liked it, but exactly the same as Grand Moff Tarkin. I think less would have been more.
Well,
I think one really clear shot, and then it just kind of being there, not even full on, because it just seemed kind of odd that he was just stood there and would occasionally like look over at someone. The closure element, beautiful, with his daughter and his granddaughter, gorgeous. Like, that made sense, but the fact that the fact that Hasbro this week, because everyone was going, where's Phoebe's action figure in the new figures they do? These figures called a Plasma series, I think they're called. They'd release one for 3 of the kids and the 3 elder statesmen Ghostbusters, each with a Build-A-Figure part for I think they called it something like the Terror Phantom, which basically was just the upright looking version of one of the Terror Dogs that was in the smoke at the beginning.
The ghostly version, yeah.
Yeah. They released that and everyone was like, well, hang on, the film's come out. Phoebe's the main character. Where's Phoebe's action figure? And they've now unveiled that the 2-pack featuring Phoebe and Ghost Egon is coming out in the new year.
Oh, Egon.
And it's just sort of like, oh, that feels weird.
I like
that.
It.
Feels really, really weird as a toy, because I'm like, oh, is that why he's solid? So you could then sell a toy based off of how he looks.
Well, I
don't know.
I thought it was really nicely done, and I thought that the ghostliness of it helped to sort of mitigate the worst of the uncanny valleyness of it.
I think the effect was beautiful.
I didn't get the same.
For the most part.
I absolutely didn't get the same Uncanny Valley reaction I got with, like you say, Tarkin in Rogue One.
Probably because it's blue and translucent, though. Because
exactly.
you're looking at it, and you're like, that's not how a person looks.
Exactly.
So there's enough of a disconnect.
So I think that's what kind of thing lends itself to that.
And the body double and the subtle CGI makeup on him in the opening sequence was done really well. Because they never, on purpose, they never fall and go, that's Egon. Yeah. Because that's part of the mystery of the film.
Really
is that,
liked that.
You know,
I really liked
the little glimpses of his silhouette and his hair and stuff. You're like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is sort of emerging between exactly how Harold Ramis looked a few years ago prior to his death.
Yeah.
And what you all picture Egon to look like. Like, you found the middle ground. It's the Force Awakens Harold Ramis. It's like if he were around, they would have gone, we're making this movie, we're getting you with a weight trainer for the next, 2 months to sort of get you sort of a little trimmer and a little fitter so you can do all the stunts and stuff. You know, they Mark Hamill Carrie Fishered him in CGI, essentially. They were like, we'll put you through a bit of training. And then, which they didn't do for the other 3.
And all the better for it.
All the better. Well, that being said, I think Ernie Hudson is just encased in stasis every now and again. And
I'll tell you what, though,
because fuck me, he looks no different.
When those 3 turn up again at the end, it felt like they never went away.
Yeah,
they slipped back into the characters instantly. Especially Bill Murray, which I was not expecting him to be here for. I was not expecting him to be here for it, and he was. I thought Venkman was like, oh, that's definitely Venkman.
That's actually Dr. Peter Venkman that I'm staring at right now. Like, it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
Here he is, and he's acting like him and talking like him, and doubled down on in the mid-credits scene.
Yeah. Which I thought was really
this
nice.
is him. This is him. Like, there he is. That scene was just gratuitous fan service, that scene, because it had nothing to do with anything, and it was just, remember this thing? Oh!
Let's just get Sigourney in, because why not? You would, wouldn't you?
It was like the end of Jay and Silent Bob reboot, where Jay reveals to his daughter that secretly he's the one been jamming gum in the locks of the Quick Stop for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
It was like, this was that version. It was, you've marked the cards, haven't you? Yes. It's like, there we go. We now know why. Like, he's able to do those sort of experiments and basically try and pull his underage students. Because remember, folks, Peter Venkman, though a wonderfully charming performance, is a creep.
Was a creep. He's reformed.
Well,
yeah.
Is he?
No.
Yes, he probably is. I don't know.
He's not.
Ray. At this point, Dan Aykroyd and Ray are kind of indistinguishable.
Yeah, that's.
But there is sort of Ray sort of has this wide-eyed charm about him, like this. There's almost like childlike glee to Ray that Aykroyd obviously puts into the character, and that's part of how he's performed.
Yeah,
and that was there. Like, you could feel this was a bitter Ray, but like you could still kind of you knew he would rather there be a better explanation for everything that happened.
Yeah,
and when he finds out, he's genuinely kind of like, I'm sorry we ever doubted you, and you know. And Ghostbusters 2 is canon because Ray's Occult Bookstore is still a thing. That's like your one nod to Ghostbusters 2 in the whole film, is that Ray has his bookstore, and it's the same bookstore from Ghostbusters 2. I also quite like the idea that, would you stay to after the credits?
Yeah.
So, like, basically Winston has been paying the bills on the place. Yeah. And paid enough of Egon's bills to keep the farm going, apparently. Yeah. Like, Janine was the go-between.
Yeah.
Which in itself implies that Janine, like, even if they weren't a thing, like, she still felt for him. She still wanted to make sure he was okay, no matter what.
Yeah.
And you can imagine that she probably rocks up one day and was like, right, what's going on? And he was like, no, seriously, go away. And she's like, you fuck it, this is me. I ain't fucking going anywhere. What's happening? What can I do? Like, I'll back off, but what do you need me to take care of so you can focus on what you're doing? Which I think is quite sweet. She takes the job in the first one as like, yeah, it's just a fucking job and I hate it, and they're all so annoying, and this is I've quit jobs that are worse than this, and you know, and now she's at the point where she's like, yeah, no, I kept checking in on him because I wanted to make sure he's all right. You know, okay, all right, I buy that.
Yeah, it was nice to see that. Yeah, nice that they used that deleted scene as well, just to from the original Ghostbusters, just to
Oh yeah, that was cute. Yeah. Then there is because you suddenly were like, hang on, how the hell did they do that? Oh, delete scene. Okay,
yeah,
right, yeah, there it is. and they tidied it up because I've seen that scene on like Blu-rays and stuff.
Oh,
It's not that tidied up. It's like video footage from the 80s, and so the fact that they went through it and restored it is really gorgeous. But there was one Ghostbusters 2016 moment in it, which was Dan Aykroyd clearly improvised a line that was funny, so they kept it in, but it contradicted something that happened later in the movie.
Oh, what was that? Oh, the
Firehouse
Starbucks.
is a
Yeah,
Starbucks.
yeah.
And then when Winston goes there at the post credits, it's like, no, it fucking isn't. Like, it's very clearly just been left alone. Although when he first said that, I was like, that's okay. And that's like a 20-year-old joke at this point, but it still does kind of work.
Jesus.
It still kind of works.
It does. Annoyingly, it does.
I still admire their restraint in not putting Slimer in the movie.
Yep. I think the Metal Muncher was similar enough, but also more interesting because it had a sort of specific trait.
It feels like they've lent into the real Ghostbusters territory a bit more now.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of
the
which,
ghosts have to be distinct.
The fucking eye thingamabob ghost. I used to have the fucking toy of that.
Yeah, the big eyeball.
Yeah,
big eyeball.
And you squeeze it, and the eyeball would fly out on a string. I used to have that motherfucker.
They subverted it. His eyeball was floating, and then his body followed.
I love it.
Wrapped around the eyeball. Yeah, not many ghosts in the film.
I also have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Where's the sheriff when they break back into the police station to get the stuff?
Probably deleted scene. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I was like, he's not there.
Sony. They probably went, we need to make it a certain amount so we can fit more screenings in a day.
After the mountain erupts, everyone just fucking disappears.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
Yeah,
but other than that, I don't have much to complain about. I really enjoyed myself.
I wish it wasn't Gozer and the Terror Dogs. I don't know why. I feel like,
well, they had to Force Awakens it, didn't they?
That's what it feels like. They are the Star Killer base of the movie. Even though it would have been, I think, more interesting to create some new mythology. Because then if you wanted to have Slimer be your random ghost, you could. He followed Egon to the farm and Egon just kept him around or something. You could Ghostbusters 2 sets up in the film universe that he's kind of just hanging around now. He's escaped, but they don't catch him because he's just sort of there. Because he keeps bothering Lewis and stuff. So it's like, you could just, But that being said, like you pointed out, the puppet effects on the Terror Dogs look gorgeous.
Oh god, they are gorgeous.
It does unfortunately expect us all to just go, oh, we know what happens, so none of the ritualistic elements are really explained other than, oh, your mom fucked your teacher.
I don't know, I think they did a pretty good job of explaining that.
Oh no, but they sort of run through, whereas in the first film it's played for this kind of mystery and horror, and it's a bit like, the fuck is going on with these people? The comedy comes from everyone's reactions to them. Whereas in this, it was just, now they fuck in the field and the ritual's finished. Bye! But also, Olivia Wilde and the two other performers who played Gozer did a really good job.
Oh yeah, the Gozer stuff is fucking fantastic.
Just close enough that you're like, yeah, that's the same entity from Ghostbusters, but not too immediately exact enough that the immersion would break, because you'd be like, hang on, how have they done that? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Olivia Wilde, uncredited, plays Gozer.
Yes.
Someone else voices Gozer, and for the bits where she's crawling out of the pit, someone else stood in for those sort of moments.
The incomplete Gozer.
Yeah, that too. That was freaky. So the other cameos that were in there, Josh Gad. Did you figure out where he was? He was the Muncher. And J.K. Simmons.
Yes.
As Ivo Shandor.
Oh. Half the money used to be now.
Yeah, you know what? I like the abruptness of that. Because why would Gozer give a fuck about a mortal who
absolutely
set
doesn't.
Up her return? She's not going to go, I'll reward you now for this. She's going to go, cheers.
Yeah.
Which was funny, but it also was a bit distracting when I was like, that's J.K. Simmons. And he's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was J.K. Simmons.
And it does unfortunately mean that Ghostbusters the video game is now non-canon. Because Ivo Shandor is the antagonist to that, and
oh well,
he looks nothing like that and lived nowhere near the location of this film. I mean, even the first film, Ivo Shandor is buried in Central Park with
Yeah.
hundreds of his followers.
Yeah.
But you could always just chalk that up to that's what was put on the records because he's over here because this is where the ticking time bomb version of the end of the world's going to happen.
If they want to tie it in, they can work out a way to make it work.
Yeah, it doesn't matter really, but
You're right, Chris. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But so what real is that? What the main thing that sort of didn't tickle your pickle about this?
For me, it was more just I know far too well by this point how the sausage is made, so I can just though the film story gave us opportunity to tell a new story with a good central point and dip into the nostalgia well. I feel a lot of the decisions that made it similar to other projects of that ilk come mainly from the minds of Amy Pascal and people like that at Sony who just that thing, do that, and I could see it as I watched it. It sort of really took me. As soon as I realised we were hitting Force Awakens beats, I was like, oh.
The thing is, I don't.
Okay.
That's not. It's just not something that bothers me.
Yeah, that's why I thought you'd enjoy it more because I was like, I know you can go. Yeah, but studio gonna studio. I'm here for the ride.
Are gonna studio. They are. It's very true.
I'm the sort of prick who, because I've ridden on like Disney rides, I'll now ride an Alton Towers ride and go, fucking hell, what are they doing? You know what I mean? When I'm riding it, and I'm like,
all right.
This ride is really good, but the theming is lazy and right. What the fuck is this meant to mean? And what do you mean Smiler changes you? What does that mean? Are you going to explain it in your park anywhere?
No, they're not going to explain
Or are you just going to rely on us remembering a fucking commercial from 10 years ago? Like, what is this? Do you know what I mean? So I can't help it. I'm always like that. I'm always like that. You go on the likes of, say, I'm trying to think of a more recent one. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout at Disneyland's California Adventure, or a ride like that. Jurassic Park River Adventure at Florida and Universal. And you get on it, and you get in that queue area, and you're like, okay. And it's just everything around you is feeding this story of what you're about to go through. And then you come out the back of it, and you're like, we went on an adventure. That was really cool. And so that to me that's Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's Ghostbusters. And then Nemesis at Alton Towers. All right, this looks a bit weird. The water's red coming out of that hill. That's interesting. The track sort of looks like bone a bit, but it's also got like goo on it. Okay, I wonder what that's about. And as you're riding around it, this music's blasting in your ears. It's all sci-fi horror, and you're like, okay, all right, And then you get off and you go, as a roller coaster, that was really, really cool. What was all the water about? What was that about? Why did they do that? I just don't. And then you go into the little canteen next to the queue area, and there's like one newspaper cut out in a frame that loosely explains, archaeologists have found something that might be alive. And you go, okay, that was Ghostbusters Afterlife to me, and not that specifically, but films of this ilk that you can see the mimicry, you can see the whole, what they did, do that, but they don't quite do anything original enough with it, and so I can't help it. It's how I'm built. I'm close to the grave now, and I've got no time for chuffer.
I've gotten less harsh on things like that in film as I've gotten older.
That's because you're Benjamin Buttoning.
I'm just like, you know what? Let it be. Whisper words of wisdom.
Speaking of, our fourth review this week. No, we're not going to get into the Beatles documentary.
Nah, I've not had a chance to watch it yet, but I would like to.
I'm going to be dribbling it into my eyes over the next few weeks, just like watching 20-minute pockets and that every now and again, because it is about 7 hours long. One bit I've seen floating around online, which I think looks amazing, is the rooftop the rooftop gig, the infamous noise complaint shut them down stuff. Toward the end of their run together. They've managed to get hold of every piece of footage that was shot on that location. And we're talking news cameras.
Yeah.
We're talking videographers who had video equipment who were on the ground floor shooting it. We're talking security footage and stuff in the reception area of that building where the receptionist was trying to stall the police briefly. Like, so they've captured that in a way where you can now see it in real time from different perspectives.
That's amazing.
And it's like, that is a great idea. Like, I cannot wait to tuck into that. But apparently that is within, like, the last 20 minutes. So, gotta work towards it. But, yeah. I'm keen. Do you know what else I'm keen for?
What are you keen for?
Oh!
Oh, yeah! So, we got a couple of mails. Emails! Got a couple in from our long-time nuisance Ian, who has... He sent us a short one and a long one. I'll do the short one first. He says, just as hopefully you've both seen Ghostbusters Afterlife, I should share this tweet and the date it was first tweeted. Short and sweet email this week, I think, and he sent us a screen cap of something that we tweeted on the 9th of December 2019.
Okay.
Call it fate. Call it luck. Call it karma. Just don't call us late for movie night. Bring on 2020. Hashtag Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
the wonders of hindsight. But then Ian got back in touch and says, you know, I'm something of an emailer myself.
Okay. Yeah.
As then Ian says, I'm popping my original Spider-Man trilogy virginity over the next 3 weeks in the lead up to Spider-Man No Way Home, so here's some random thoughts. I have now learned that I'll have to re-listen to the whole pod as you've both been dropping references like Christmas hams. Listen, Ian, I never drop a Christmas ham unless it's straight into my yawning gullet. The film...
His yawning maw.
So we're talking about...
Then does your tongue attack it like a blender?
Yeah, my sharp tongue. Ian's thoughts on Spider-Man.
Oh my god, 2002.
The original Spider-Man. This film overall feels very, let's do a Superman film, but Spider-Man. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It feels slightly timeless, mainly due to how things have changed in the past 20 years, but also how it's not trying to be set in any particular time. Well, maybe the time when the biggest trouble in moving to the big city was finding a dream job. Willem Dafoe and James Franco were excellent casting as Norman and Harry, especially because now we know Franco is a slightly slimy, also Franco's hair. Just like when I watched Spider-Man Homecoming, you can tell how much the internet generation grew up on these films, because all of the meme and GIFs used on a daily basis. I've also definitely heard the score before, but that might be because I know Elfman more than others. Listen, if you've heard one Danny Elfman score, you've heard 50% of them. There's not really a lot of excessive dialogue in this. It's very clear-cut, very straight to the point. I really enjoyed how they explained the spider and why Peter had certain powers. It felt like a good balance for people who knew the character and ones who didn't. I wish we had more of Peter as a character in contrast to Harry, maybe even just they are both loners who stuck together. No, I'm sure that'll get built on over the trilogy. Closing thought, guy with 8 hands. Sounds hot. Your friendly neighbourhood, Ian.
Hey.
Yeah, Lucy Lawless having a favour called in by Sam Raimi. That one.
I love that. I've talked at length about how like that film is the perfect example of every character is memorable.
Yes.
Every single... It's like Ghostbusters, Spider-Man 2002. It's like not many walk that tightrope perfectly, but that is one of it. Where just like you could quote any rando from the movie, and people go, "Oh yeah, that bit."
Yeah.
Okay. Guy with 8 hands. Sounds hot. Like yes, Goth Lucy Lawless.
Yes.
Goofy
Lawless.
God, what else? Goofy Lawless.
Yes.
I adore that movie. I adore it. And the Timeless thing's a really good shout as well. Like it is,
isn't it?
It is shot in the 2000s, set in a very deliberately vague 60s New York.
Yeah, it's very much the 1960s Spider-Man comics.
Yeah, like just down to everyone's relationships, the styles that they're wearing, but it also isn't afraid to have more modern elements in there. The only things that have aged are like there's a couple of looks for characters like Mary Jane that are very early 2000s.
Yeah.
And the inclusion of Macy Gray are the only things that kind of make you go, oh, it's the 2000s. Like, okay, fine. But, you know, it's other than that, it's sort of nicely ill-defined. All 3 of those movies really sort of retain that look. The third one sort of pushes it a little further the other way, but like the first two definitely sit in that same world.
The third one sort of fucks it.
Yeah.
By being shit. But other than that, but I'm sure we'll get more missives on Ian's Spider-Man experience over the next couple of weeks. So, this one comes in from Sam. And Sam says, Amy Pascal strikes again!
Okay.
They say,
What's she done?
Hello, boys. I'm
Hello,
back. Hope you're both well.
That delivery was spot on.
I'm known for my accuracy to Randy Quaid.
Oh, God, no.
Hope you're both well. Recently, I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife, and it sure was a film I saw at the cinema.
Oh.
Ringing endorsement. I can see where this is going.
Jesus Christ.
For me, Ghostbusters is such a lightning in a bottle movie. I think what makes the original movie so special and endearing can't really be replicated. So instead of trying anything new, Afterlife just throws all those member berries at you in the least subtle way possible. For the most part, it doesn't have an original bone in its body. It's because it's a sequel. That being said, in the instances when the movie worked, it really worked. McKenna Grace as the Eonish protege Phoebe absolutely carried the movie. If they do make any more sequels, gotta make use of the Ghost Corps logo somehow, right? I'd love it to come back. A lot of the action sequences were awesome too. The car chase with Muncher was definitely the showstopper of the movie for me. The tribute to the late, great Harold Ramis was really sweet too. And while it was really nice to see all three of the original team and CG Harold Ramis reuniting, by this point it just became a beat-for-beat remake of the original. All I could do is sit there thinking I could be at home watching the original. I mean, it's not really a beat-for-beat remake of the original, because they explicitly do the same thing that they did in the original and have it undone, and have to come up with a new solution. So it has common callbacks, but it's not a beat-for-beat, but I get what you mean.
I sit halfway between you both.
Yeah, it's like, what's the first thing we do? Oh, we're going to cross the streams. Doesn't work. Oh, so we have to do something new now. Oh, and yeah, the podcast gets covered in marshmallow goop, but
because that happened in the first one.
Yeah, okay, fine. You know what? You know why you should do it again? Because it looks funny. That's why.
Yeah, but no one had a William Atherton though. No one nearly broke their spine from having 70 pounds of marshmallow fluff dropped on them for a practical shot.
Yeah, so it wasn't beat for beat. We were missing that beat.
We're missing nearly killing Walter Peck.
Yeah, this man has no dick. While it was really,
God damn it.
While it was really nice to see all three of the original team, no, I said that one. I didn't dislike it, and the bones of a really great story are definitely there. But ultimately, it's thrown away for a lot of. You remember this bit from the original, don't you? And which is kind of what I liked about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sort of. I think I'm sat directly between you and Sam on this one. Yeah.
As a big damn fan of the original movie, I really wanted to sing its praises, but alas, it's an out of 10 from me. Right, I'm off to invest in mini puffed NFTs. Yes, this is sadly a real thing Sony are doing to promote this film. Until next time, goodbye, my dears. Yeah.
Goodbye, my dear.
I don't know. I'm more up on it than most people I've spoken to, but I don't. It's weird. I don't.
Oh my god! It's killed him.
Yeah, it's killed me.
It's sapping his energy.
I don't have a problem with nostalgia, as long as it's good. Like, I don't think nostalgia is in and of itself bad. Like, I'm not gonna get down on something for it being like nostalgia bait, because I don't have a problem with the concept of nostalgia inherently. It's only when it leads to something being lazy and bad. And I don't think Ghostbusters Afterlife was lazy or bad. I think it was very much a love letter to the original, in a much more sincere way than, for example, The Force Awakens was. Which is kind of the closest thing you can compare it to in terms of what it tries to do and aims to do and achieves, sort of resurrecting a decades-old franchise.
I know that it's not a thing you tune into very often nowadays, but like Red Letter Media back when they reviewed back when they reviewed the 2016 Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty fun review just because they spend most of it drinking Crystal Head Crystal Skull Head vodka.
I mean, yeah, that's going to make anything more fun, really, isn't it?
And like you can tell that Jay can drink, Rich is probably like driving, so isn't drinking, and Mike is just getting more drunk and giddy and turning into a child, and it's quite funny. But in that, Jay makes a point with Ghostbusters 2016. He says, "Do you think if this film wasn't in development at the same time as The Force Awakens was in post-production and coming out, do you think they would have made a movie that was more like The Force Awakens? They would have done more of a soft reboot direction instead." And in their review of this one, their review of this one, I think they were like, I had issues with it, but they really didn't care for it. But
that's all they ever fucking do now.
Except Jay really loved the things that worked. He was really glowing about it, and Mike is now at the point where he's not miserable. He's just sort of like, it wasn't for me. Well. But in it, they bring up that question that they asked in the 2016 review, and it's sort of very eerie that, he really had his finger on the pulse there about that one. The 2016 one didn't work out. They didn't carry on. So what did they do? They made a Force Awakens version of Ghostbusters.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like that's
absolutely
eerie.
They did.
Yeah, that's pretty eerie. I'll be honest. I'm just there for the Jay Bauman and Rich Evans being a precious bean that needs to be taken care of at all times.
Poor Rich.
Bless his eyes.
Bless his eyes.
Bless his etc.
Oh my God!
ATST.
Fuck off.
What was that? That was the Rogue One review, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Put it this way: you dug it.
I dug it.
And I think that means you're in the best timeline.
I am in the best time. I'm having the time of my line.
Oh dear. Now, next week. We don't know if next week will be a reactionary week episode for that week yet, because we're about to head into second week of rehearsal, then tech and dress, and then school shows. But
who could say? And who cares?
Just in case. Son of a bitch.
How many listeners do you have? Not enough.
But no matter what, there will be something next week. I think because we've got school shows, unless we're doing like massive rehearsals in the evening, I think it's likely we'll be able to record next Monday or Tuesday evening. Which means, folks.
Yeah, it's evenings all the way for me.
Yeah, which means you dirty bastards. What we need from you,
dirty cat,
you dirty scruffs, is you dirty scruffs, sir. What we need from you is we need you to.
I hate it.
We need you to. Yeah, but doesn't he look like he's just leapt out of a Dickens adaptation?
Yeah.
We need you guys.
I should leap the fuck back in.
I'm loving it. I think it's great. We need you guys to email in bigdamcontact@gmail.com your thoughts on the Flux finale after you've seen it. Let us know what you think of it. And we'll probably, I've got a feeling next week will probably be pretty Doctor Who Flux specific, since we'll have the story to talk about in full.
We can talk about the whole thing. Yay.
And we'll talk about Hawkeye episode 3 as well.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Hawkeye episode 3.
I actually really am. I'm looking forward to it. Also, Lucy started watching Only Murders in the Building, so I think that's given me permission to start that as well over this period.
Watch Midnight Mass.
Yeah, Midnight Mass as well.
It's 7 episodes.
What did I watch this week? I finished Marvel Studios Assembled.
Oh yeah.
I watched the 4 that I hadn't watched yet. The Loki, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and What If episodes. They're pretty good. And it's annoying that they're not on any of like the respective DVDs of the films, because it's like these are decently comprehensive hour-plus long making of documentaries. Could you put these on the Blu-rays as well, please?
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
It'd be nice to have some behind-the-scenes features again, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, Jesus.
If I learned one thing, I learned that Ben Kingsley fucking loves playing Trevor Slattery.
Ben Kingsley will do fucking anything.
Loves
for
playing
money.
him.
He doesn't give a fuck.
And he's also like, he also treated playing with Morris on set as you would being in a double act. like he met with the effects guy who was going to be physically moving the sort of like stand-in green thing that was there in Morris's place, and he took him out to dinner for a couple of days in a row, and they went and had drinks just to get to know each other a bit, because he was like, I want to get to the point where we have a shorthand. And because they were saying, do you want us to build a more practical prop version of him, like an animatronic one? It'd be CG in the movie, but just for interactions. And he went, no. He says, because me and they know each other now. Like, we know each other, so I rely on you, you rely on me, we trust each other with the decisions, and And they said by the end of it, he wanted to take the little green like lump that they used home.
Little green lump.
Because he'd grown attached to it. It's like, oh, Sir Ben. Sir Ben. Oh, bless his cotton socks.
Bless his cotton ass.
Well, get your cotton arses over to Twitter at BigDamnCast.
Do it.
You can also support the show, keep the lights on around here at patreon.com/BigDamnCast.
And it is literally just keeping the lights on at this point.
We've moved on to eating the building around us, but the lights are on, so we can see what we're consuming.
Yeah, just about.
And thereabouts. Just look after yourselves. Don't be dicks.
Look after yourselves and each other.
Yeah. And if your CGI Harold Ramis sticks around for longer than 4 hours, consult the doctor.
Yeah. It's not helpful.